Hello and welcome to the old Fliers. Rare photos of an age of commercial aviation in Australia from the 1920s and 1930s are a treasure of a bygone age, well worth reminding us of the difficulties of travel by air in those times. First, to set the scene, Australia is huge and aviation pioneers like Sir Norman Brearley and Horry Miller knew that the tyranny of distance could be conquered by air, though not as large as Russia, Canada, China, the United States or Brazil. At 7.7 million square kilometres, Australia is still big. For instance, it takes me 2.5 days to drive from Perth eastwards to the state border of Western Australia. Straight line distance, Perth to Forrest is 1,023 kilometres, and on to Adelaide is another 1,203 kilometres. Of course, in those days, aircraft would not fly over the Southern Ocean as it was too risky. It had been in July 1919 that Norman Brearley returned from World War I with two Avro 504s and set up one of the first aviation businesses in Australia. In 1921, the Commonwealth Government awarded the first contract for a subsidised weekly air service in Australia to Brearley. On the 5th of December 1921, his airline, Western Australian Airways, began Australia's first scheduled airline service between Geraldton and Derby in the Kimberley region. In 1928, Brearley won a tender to operate a subsidised aerial mail service between Perth and Adelaide in South Australia. This meant the company operated from Wyndham to Adelaide, a total distance of over 5,300 kilometres. To operate this service, the company purchased 4 de Havilland DH-66 Hercules aircraft, each capable of carrying 14 passengers and cargo at a speed of 160 kilometres per hour. Under the terms of the contract, Brearley was forced to buy aircraft from Britain as there was a ban on American aircraft entering Australia. While the Hercules were the best available at the time, they were slow, difficult to maintain and expensive to operate. In 1929, Sir Norman Brearley's airline Western Australian Airways won the contract to provide a weekly return air service linking Perth to Adelaide. It was Australia's first transcontinental air service. In 1930, the Geraldton and Derby service was extended to Wyndham in the northwest, and 2 de Havilland DH-61 8-seaters were required to handle the ever-increasing traffic over the total route of nearly 3,000 kilometres. In an attempt to improve the service, Brearley turned again to Britain and in 1931 bought 2 Vickers by Astra all-metal aircraft capable of 230 kilometres per hour. They were even less successful than the Hercules. In May 1934, Western Australian Airways Limited lost the northwest service to McRobson Miller Aviation and soon afterwards was told that the east-west service would no longer be subsidised by the government. 2 Hercules had already been sold to Imperial Airways and the remaining 2 Hercules were used to operate the Perth to Adelaide service until 2 de Havilland DH-84 Dragon aircraft could be obtained. It was hoped that these would prove more economical to operate and could enable a non-subsidised service to run at a profit. One was sold in 1934 and replaced by a de Havilland DH-89 Rapide. In 1935, the ban on American imports was lifted and the first of the all-metal 320 km per hour DC-2s were bought. Brearley made a last-ditch effort to keep up with the changing times, placing provisional orders for 2 Lockheed Electra aircraft, but when an offer was made by an Eastern States consortium to buy his company, he took an option and sold out in June 1936 to Adelaide Airways. Nowadays, when I take a flight from Perth to Adelaide and gaze down upon lonely Forest, my thoughts turn to those brave pilots and trusting passengers so many years ago who found refuge in this desolate outpost. Thank you for watching. Our results for the Old Fliers 2024 channel have just come in. We are very grateful to those who follow us. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and your generous donations support new content.